Today I am going to conduct video for grade 10 Social History Chapter 8 Era of Gandhi and National Movement. There are the different national movements happen for the freedom of India. In that like the Chora Chori movement, incident and the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, Quit India movement, Bengal partition and so many things. Okay, now we talk about the tribal revolts. Okay, the farmers and the workers already they started many revolutionary activities because they got the support from the Indian National Congress and Gandhiji and the other famous leaders. The same kind of the tribal people those also started the same way. The tax and the forest policy implemented during the British administration were the reason for the tribal. You know, the every special look like the farmers, workers, and the tribals, and everyone's main reason to revolt for the tax policies or maybe the other issues. But those are the all the issues are the directly the same for the government, for the public. So, in that some tribals, especially the starting like Santala, Kola, Munda are the important tribals who started to revolt. Again, it is a notable. And Halagali Beda's revolt of Karnataka is another notable revolt. The revolt of Santala tribe is considered as an important revolt in India, and the people of this tribe are present in a hilly area of the Bengal and the Odisha states. So the implementation of the zamindari system, and according to this the more people became the landless. After when they became the landless, the land developed by them was taken over the zamindars, and the zamindars, moneylenders and the company government became the exploiters of the Santhal tribes. It means not only the one person, there are three types of different zamindar also, moneylender also, and the British government also. They all are trying to exploit those people according to forest policies, land policies. They already don't have their lands. They are just also working on the other land, and after that also they have to pay a huge amount of taxes. So they start to revolt against. After that, they decide they met secretly. There is also not allowed to meet openly. They met separately and decided to loot to the zamindars and the money landers. So the revolt was served in Bhagatpur, Bharat and the Rajmahal areas, and as a result the tribal people killed their enemies, and the frightened money landers zamindar fled from these areas, and after that this revolt of Santala came to an end and became an inspiration for the many revolts in the future. Similarly, Kola and Munda revolt against the zamindar. Next we talk about the Subhash Chandra Bose. Subhash Chandra Bose was from Cuttack of Odisha, and the role of Subhash Chandra Bose is a decisive step in the Indian national freedom struggle. Thought he had served 4th rank in the Indian civil services in ICS exams, but he refused the posting and became part of the national freedom struggle, and after that he became popular as a Netaji. He engaged himself in the organizing the Indian resident outside India as a counter of the Gandhiji's softer protest. So the half of the time he just went outside only, and he toured many cities like Vienna, Berlin, Rome, Istanbul and other cities, and they and the Indians settled in these places with favor of a freedom struggle. The birth and the rise of communism and socialism did influence many in the Congress. So with the Indian National Congress, the left ideology took roots. By 1934, Subhash Chandra Bose and the Jawaharlal Nehru founded the Congress Socialist Party within the Indian National Congress. Subhash Chandra Bose became the president of Haripur Convention of Indian National Congress with the support of the Gandhiji. A difference of the opinion broke between Subhash Chandra Bose and the Gandhiji. I told you the opinions obviously everyone's is different. Gandhiji's soft approach towards the British war policy clashed with the Bose hardlines approach for the same. He criticized Gandhiji's failures to seek foreign help in the matter. Later, in 1939, Subhash Chandra Bose was reflected as the president of the Indian National Congress, and he had to resign owing the difference with the Gandhiji. This underlined his decision to fight the British by staying within the structure of the Indian National Congress, and he quit the Congress and founded a Forward Bloc. The party aimed at staying within the fold of the Indian National Congress and had progressive ideals. After this, within the aim of the mobilizing the anti-British forces to fight against the Britishers, Subhash Chandra Bose escaped from the house arrest and reached Germany. In the Germany, he agreed to extend all the help in the Bose. The Bose organized a prisoner of war from India, and he broadcasted his speeches over Azad Hind radio to Indians. On learning about the successes of the Japan in the war, Bose joined hands with the Ras Bihari Bose and to explore the possibility of seeking the help of the Japan to liberate India. Ras Bihari Bose had founded Indian Independence League in Tokyo of Japan. He was calling his military wing as the Indian National Army. Bose called for Delhi Chalo on the occasion. He said, "Give me your blood, I'll get your freedom." Captain Lakshmi Sahgal became the commander of Jhansi Regiment, a women's wing of INA. Subhash Chandra Bose had planned to attack India through Rangoon, but by that time, thousands of soldiers who had joined INA were ready to occupy Delhi. They started their army struggle on the Burma border when there was a fierce battle between the INA and the British army. Subhash Chandra Bose died in the airplane crash, and since Rangoon was captured by the British army, the soldiers for INA were arrested by them. The later most of the conflict was successful in getting the arrested of INA soldiers released. So it is a structure he built which is according to army structure, and he tried to support with all possible things which he could do. Okay, which he did, and according to those structure he built army, they fought, they just started revolutions, and with not in the live in India. And after that they just were outside of the India, and after that they tried to collect the people's and their money and all the things. So this was the support of the Subhash Chandra Bose for the Indian freedom struggle. Now we talk about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, you know that he also known as the chief architect of the Indian Constitution, and he strongly believed that the political freedom without social freedom is meaningless. So political freedom is required. So he was actually very artist type of, he was very depressed about this hierarchical type of social systems and their issues and all the things. So he studied the caste system and derived the strategies of the destroy. And he organized the Mahand Tank and the Kalaram Temple movements. He participated in all the 3 rounds table conference and suggested various ways to unshackle the bondage of the downtrodden communities in the Indian society. But sometimes differences between the Gandhiji and Ambedkar, there are the issues of the development of the Harijans and the leadership of the untouchable. Ambedkar demand of the separate electoral constituencies for the untouchable created controversies between Ambedkar and Gandhiji. After Ambedkar was Diwan of the Baroda Maharaj, so he was a member of a Bombay Legislative Council, and later was also a member of a Viceroy Legislative Council. So Dr. Ambedkar never joined the Indian National Congress and founded a Bahishkrit Hitkarni Sabha and later Swatantra Karmika Party. He published periodically like Prabundhar Bharat, Janata, Mukanyak and Bahishkrit Bharat. He always stay away from the communist and the social activists which is try to get justice from labor. laborers. Actually, according to B.R. Ambedkar, the main issue was the untouchables people, and he want to remove that discrimination from the society with the help of the political matters. But somehow the conflicts between the Gandhiji and Ambedkar, those were the issues they have to just try to become a more problematic for that. Okay, because the Gandhiji's thoughts about this, there are so different. Gandhiji's thoughts was there that in the country no one can go according to separately community. All are the Indians, so they have to just think about according to Indians only, not with any community. A constitution was needed to chalk out the future of independent India. After Dr. Babu Rajendra Prasad was elected as the president of the Constituent Assembly and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar as the elected of the chairman of the drafting committee. He advocated equality in the constitution and provided legal guarantee against untouchability equally in the constitution. The Constitution of India consider the practice of untouchability as a crime. So whatever he wanted, he did. When he became a president, a chairman of drafting committee, he just did to complete those views, those their aims to achieve. Okay, and it's not only about this. Actually, he had believed that what Marxism can bring change, the bloodletting, the violence. The same change would be brought about the Buddhism with peace and non-violence. The government of India has honored Dr. B.R. Ambedkar for his lifetime achievement by awarding the highest civilian honor, which is the Bharat Ratna. Okay, so this is all about the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Now we talk about the Jawaharlal Nehru. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, you know that, entered in the national freedom struggle through Home Rule movement. He played prominent role in the non-cooperation movement held during 1920, and he became the president of the Lahore session of Indian National Congress. Purna Swaraj Rule was declared in this session, and Nehru expressed his unhappiness of the withdrawal of non-cooperation movement by Gandhiji. The thinking of the Nehru provided a new flip of the political activities, and he was influenced by the communist ideology. As a result, leftist ideology became prominent in the Indian National Congress. The Nehru was the president of the 49th session of the Indian National Congress. He declared the Congress should stay away from the world war against arising out the imperialism. He argued that the Charak and the Harijana movement were not so affected. So he appeared to have stayed away from the Gandhiji's thought. His revives had not depleted. As he was influenced by various intellectual streams, he tried to achieve a holistic view with them. This was actually a new thing and evident for the non-aligned movement and the mixed economic principles. After that, in the president of the 15th session of the Indian National Congress, he declared the Congress support complete democracy and it fight for a democracy only, not for the socialism. So here, the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was only political activities in the Indian National Congress, also in the Indian freedom struggle history also, because it was a basic aim, and he was thought that if whatever changes we want to do is we are doing according to the political measures only. It's not about the social measure we can change anything. About the political matter, about the political administration, we can change the thing. So that's why that was the important thing on that time of period according to his views. As the Prime Minister of India, he can be seen as the architect of industrialization and a modern India. Nehru became instrumental in the integration of India, which was achieved through the Home Minister of his cabinet, Vallabhbhai Patel, the Iron Man of India, who was successful bringing all the princely states of India together. I think this thing you know about it, that when the India got freedom in 1947, that time in India there are more than 500 princely states which were really all of want to live freely. But with the effort of the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Patel, the whole country united into states, and that was a really a remarkable work done by both of them and their teams. So they just recognize, and it's not only about that those people are not there. They just saw that where is the situation in the which states. Maybe some states that people are majority according to language. They just gave according to language state, language type of structure, and then the statement. If any place there is other according to communities, they just gave this type. So it means it is a work done by both of them or their teams is according to the people choice and the faith also. He sought to develop India through 5 years plans, and he sought the development infrastructure and heavy industries through these 5-year plans. He introduced actually 5-year plans according to the administration and the planning commission. According to those 5-year plans, he just tried to achieve one by one all that, because after the 1947 India's economic, social, all the condition was not so good. So just improve all this condition. Those 5 years plans were good. With the aim of the mastering atomic energy, he laid the foundation for that under the leadership of the H.J. Bhabha, which is the name is the Homi Jahangir Bhabha. On the external efforts front, India wanted to stay away from the most powerful blocs of the Cold War period, which is the US and the USSR, and advocate non-aligned movement. He was instrumental in staying away from the power politics by adhering the Panchasheel principle. He was died in 1964. So this is all about Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, which is a brilliant and remarkable work for the Indian politics. Next we talk about Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Muhammad Ali Jinnah joined Indian National Congress in 1906 and worked as a private secretary to Dadabhai Naoroji. His popularity grew more after he argued in favor of a Tilak in some litigations against him. After that, he joined Home Rule League, and in the many conferences he argued in the favor of Hindu-Muslim unity. So after that, he resigned and he started to an Imperial Legislative Council opposing the Implementation Rowlatt Act. He declared himself as a nationalist Muslim in a round table conference. After that, Jinnah changed his strategies when the Muslim League and the conference failed to form a coalition government in 1937. When the Freedom Declaration was nearer, he increased his pressure to creation of an independent Pakistan. He was successfully in creating Pakistan during the declaration of independence. So this is the role of Jinnah to just creating a new country, which is Pakistan. Now the partition of India. You know, from the 1857, or we call it from the before that also, from that time to 1947, in those 90 years, all the things is some bad, some those are the things done. Movements, struggles, death, lost their lives, so many things. But the partition of India, that was a really impactful thing for the both countries. So all along the national freedom struggle and the Indian National Congress had the vision from the independent united India. When they all started to any movement, they didn't imagine that India after the 1940, when they got a finally freedom, the country is divided into two countries. No one imagined, and no one even started thought about it, because that was not the aim of those time period of the peoples. Those are the revolutionaries and all the people. That was not the aim. The aim was just to free India from the Britishers. So, but because of some pressure, because of the Muhammad Jinnah's pressure, putting pressure on the independent Pakistan, in the Lahore session of the Muslim League in 1940, Jinnah declared that Hindus and Muslims cannot make one session. The Labour Party came to power in England after the end of the Second World War. It tried to find solutions for the political problems of India. It sent a cabinet mission to have discussion on giving self-rule rights to India. The mission had discussion with Muslim League and Indian National Congress, the two major representatives for both communities. It recommended for a federal form of government and suggested to form an interim government. It also suggested the formation of the Constituent Assembly to formulate constitution, but there were differences over the formation of the coalition interim government between the Indian National Congress and the Muslim League. The Muslim League called as a Direct Action Day on August 16 and 1946. As a result, communal clashes took place in various parts of the country. Muslim League did not participate in all the things. And after that, the division of the Bengal and the implementation in 1909 Act came, and according to those acts also, both two communities, which is Hindus and Muslims, they all are just right to division. So, according to all this measure, there are so many things is going on. Finally, in 1947, Act came, and according to those Act, India and Pakistan divided done. So it means after 1947, India and Pakistan became a two separate countries. So this is your chapter, students. Now I am going to end my session.